method. All right, so let's go ahead, close our eyes. Just let your hands move around your body, Emily. Let them move to where they need to go to support you right now, to connect and really sink into all of you. And now just breathe life into whatever's here as we hold that intention to connect and expand into all that's here and just be with all that's here. And just let your body notice and let your brain pay attention to what it notices in your body in this minute of connection. Just take another 2 breaths here. When you're complete, go ahead and come back. How was that minute of connecting with everything that's here?
It's oh boy. Um, I won't lie to you. I don't want to feel my emotions right now. Like
Okay.
I absolutely don't want to, but I mean I need to just like from, me like when I'm about to talk to you about it's like, okay, I've told 3 separate trusted people,
Mhm.
the same thing and it's very emotionally like taxing each time. But, like I've been also like dying to be able to like talk to you and like talk through it with you, but I was like, oh my god, I don't want to I just don't want to feel, but I know it's important, so that's where I'm at.
Okay. And what's beneath that, like not wanting to feel? Is there anything beneath that? Is it just
Sadness, a lot of sadness, fear.
mm.
There's a lot of uncertainty.
So I'm curious, where can you breathe and expand more? Even in this moment, where do you feel like you can breathe and expand more?
My chest.
Okay, so let's just take a moment to let that happen. And maybe if it feels okay, open up a little bit more to feel like more breathing and expanding through the chest space. And as you open up, if you could give this a voice, like this space that feels like you can breathe and expand more, what might it want you to know?
It wants me to know to not give up on who I am,
Hmm.
even though it's really shitty right now.
Okay. So to keep persevering and following who you are is what I heard you say. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yes.
So let's, as you're breathing and expanding still in that space of the heart, let's also honor the sadness. So bring your hands to that reverence stance. Bring your hands to your heart and just gently let your gaze come down as you. We're just going to be with that sadness now for a moment. That's here to support you and remind you that you matter and what you love matters, and following your truth matters.
Hmm.
Just take a moment to be with that. And is there any way that you can deepen into you and support your own needs right now? Or how might you deepen into you and support your own needs right now to honor this?
Honestly, just by having you listen to me and then us talk through it is just what I need.
And if it feels like you laying down or moving your body into a different position, let your body lead. So if you feel like anything else would be supportive, please
Oh,
honor that.
okay. I have my comfort cup
I
in my bed, so that's helpful, and I'm in comfortable clothes, so that's all good. Um yeah, so basically, um this all happened last week.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, it was my birthday last week. And I have had this sense of like not restlessness, but that there's just something, right?
Okay.
Um, and I chalked it up to, well, like the OCD, sometimes like plays tricks with my brain and makes me think that there's something there that's really not.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna chalk it up to that because I've been told everything's fine, so I need to like trust that. So last week Will went to therapy, like his own therapy session,
Mhm.
and then came back, and I could tell something was wrong or off.
Mhm.
And he was just like, no, I'm just tired. I'm like, no, like something's bothering you, just because I know him so well.
Yeah.
So he told me that he's really struggling with the lifestyle that we're in, being polyamorous.
Mhm.
Um, and for a variety of reasons, because we also see like a poly therapist, and for a
Right.
while he chalked it up to, well, like we've grown up in a mono society, and we're looking through these things through this kind of lens, and I thought it was just stuff we were working through. So he was like, I just don't know if I want to do like if I can, because I don't feel happy.
Mm.
And I said, okay, that's valid. He's like, I don't know if I'm like wired for monogamy or if I'm wired for poly, and I just don't know. Like, I don't know right now.
Mhm.
And I said, okay. And he said, but I know that's how you're wired. And it's true. That's how I am. I was repressed so long in my house that I really didn't truly discover myself to my mid to late 20s. I mean, like, when Will and I got together, I was 17. I was a baby. I got married at 22.
Yeah.
So we were very young, and I still didn't know who I was at the time. So I didn't know those parts of me. They were there, but I just hadn't uncovered them. Um, so he said he wasn't going to, put me through, like he honors who I am as a person, right? But now it's if he can continue this life.
Mhm.
And so that means either we continue, or we remain married, but it becomes a platonic
Mm.
marriage. Um, and he has a session with Kate next Friday
Mhm.
where he's hoping to get clarity and the answers that he needs and seeks from that session. That's the goal.
Mhm.
So I'm in this limbo state of I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Mhm.
I have been with this man for 14 years of my life
Mhm.
since I was 17. Um, we built this house together, like have faced so many things together, like his substance abuse.
Mhm.
Um, and he's been sober now for 5 years, but you know, like that was all during COVID, and I was pregnant, and we worked through so much stuff. It just felt like there was nothing that we couldn't work through. Like there was no problem
Yeah.
that we couldn't face. Um, so I was in shock,
Mhm.
and I had to take a rescue med that night just to sleep because I was like, I feel like I can't breathe because I thought that everything was fine.
Mm.
Um, I yeah. Um, so we talked, and he's like, I don't know where I'm at, and I'm like, okay, I just have to walk through these scenarios though for my own peace of mind because I need to prepare myself for what's to come.
Mm.
And like, if you decide you can't do this, know
Right.
that I honor and respect that, and I want you to be happy. And we both said, we love each other no matter what. We'll always care about each other.
Mhm.
We would remain in the same house together because,
Okay.
like, I mean, we built this paradise, and we both love it. And, you
Yeah.
know, we have Tegan, and, we're each other's best friends. And I'm not angry. I'm really sad, but I'm not mad at him.
Okay.
Um, it's just kind of like, okay. Like, when I looked at him the next day, I'm like, okay, a week from now, it could be facing, I don't know, not calling him my partner in that sense.
Mhm.
Um, so it was a big shock. And Friday was awful. Terrible. Um, I talked to Elizabeth and Scott about it, my partners, and because we've been together for years. And it was like I filled them in. I'm like, this is where Will's at.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm at, is that I'm honoring who I am as a person because I can't go back into the box that I lived in, you know,
Right.
in the past. And I can't do it. Um, I have to live like what's for me. And I really want that to be with him too. But I can't change myself or morph myself into something that I'm not. Um, yeah. And two of my best friends came over Saturday, and they cried with me because they've known Will for as long, almost as long as I have. And they
Yeah.
were in complete shock. They're like, we never thought that would ever happen. And I said, neither did I.
Mhm.
I would have told you 1,000% that we would be romantically married, involved till the day we both died.
Mhm.
Um, so that's the big piece that's going on. Day to day, it's been fine. Like it's not weird. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like someone asked me, like, okay, well, is it weird in the house now? Like, is it awkward? Is it uncomfortable? Is it? And I said, no, it's none of those things because I'm not angry. I'm like, I've broken down many times and I've cried.
Right.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. And it's each day has gotten a little better, not better in the sense of like, okay, but more in the sense of like, okay,
Mhm.
I I think it I'm not well, no, I think it feels that way for me where I'm functioning because I know that I'm honoring what's for me as a person, and then also he's honoring what's for him as a person.
Right.
Um, and I can't hold that against him, and I won't, and I don't want to, and I don't hold that against myself. There was a brief moment where I felt like my orientation and sexuality broke apart my family, but then I was like, no, it didn't, because there's nothing wrong with it. There's like such a stigma against it, and that's why I've only told trusted people because no one else needs to know. And yeah,
Not
um,
everybody.
yeah, and not everybody would understand or get it, because some people think it's just like about like fucking other people, and it's just like, no, that's not it. My other relationships are just as valid.
Yeah.
Um, so that's
Hmm.
that's where I'm at.
Well, I'm wondering what would feel like we got somewhere today in our time together. Like where would you like to go with all of this? Because this is you're at a threshold right now and you're in the
I
limbo.
am.
So is there somewhere you want to get to or be, or if you could describe that? And if not, that's okay. We don't have to have
Yeah, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I'd love to say I would love an answer, but I can't right now.
that.
Um, I want to get to a place of acceptance for no matter what happens. And I feel like there is that piece. Like I do feel that acceptance piece where it's okay, I can
Yeah.
accept living with Will in a platonic marriage where we still care about each other and raise our daughter together. I can accept that. It's really fucking weird to say. And it's also, I don't know how to make that transition either. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't,
And what if we don't have to know any of that yet? Because you're in limbo right now and not all the information is even fully present. Will was just kind of sharing where he's at in this moment, which he still is uncovering, is what I heard you say.
yeah,
And he was kind of sharing, like, it could be this or it might be this, so that you had, you were aware of where he's kind of at with things. And he's also in limbo right now, from what I'm hearing.
yeah,
You're kind of both in that space, and at home it's not shifting, like that's still okay. But I also do want to acknowledge, Emily, that beyond the OCD you had a knowing something was shifting.
I
And
knew. And oh, I, and you know how valid that makes me feel? And also, a, a couple things. Valid where I'm like, no, to my core, like trusting my body, and what I'm feeling, I knew something was off and I was right.
right.
Um, and in a way that makes me feel better because I thought I was going crazy, where I
Mm,
was like, okay, like it just must be in my head. Um, but I,
yeah.
but there's just something that I can't pinpoint. Um, and I'm glad that I wasn't, my head wasn't fabricating stories. I'm like,
Right.
okay, like I truly feel like now I can tell the difference between OCD anxious thoughts and then my gut or intuition or whatever sense that is being like, there's something off and you should listen to that.
Well, and I'm curious with that. I heard like the battle happening of like doubting yourself and being in that uncertainty. But I also now on the other side of it hear that like you're having validation that your gut knowing knew something was off. And how might you know? Like you said, you know the difference now. Is that true?
I feel like I do after that because
Sweet.
I don't know, there's a difference. There's a difference in that feeling.
That's all that matters is that you can decipher the difference. And I really wanted to acknowledge that because it's kind of huge. Even if you were in the doubt before, when you have that gut knowing, just reminding your brain, thank you, brain. I know you're trying to take over. I know. And I don't know what the answer is, but show me. If there's something I'm to know, show me. And like just continue to stay in that energy of show me what my knowing is. Even if I don't know what it is yet, I know something is different or off. Show me. That way, it gives your brain a task of what to look for rather than going to the OCD, you're doing something wrong, and like thinking you're crazy. Give your brain a task so that it can look for what it is. And I, I do want to say, Emily, I think you did it that in some way. Maybe it wasn't conscious, but I think you were doing that and you were learning to like discern which one it was last week. And I really want to say thank you, body, and thank you for just staying in tune to what was true.
Yeah, and that's why I knew, like, when he came back from therapy, and I was
Yeah.
like, "No, like, this needs this whatever this is needs to be spoken now because
Yeah.
I feel it, and it is so unsettling that it
Mm.
needs to just to be, brought up."
I
Um,
had chills when you said that. Chills. I felt that, Emily.
yeah,
That's huge. You fully leaned in and just to bring your awarenesses, you leaned into the discomfort. It was so unsettling and you didn't run away. You leaned in, which was part of what we when we started working together.
yes, I leaned in,
So,
and I was thinking about you actually throughout this whole process because I, have some attachment and abandonment issues and things like that, but I that wasn't triggered.
yeah, wow.
Definitely. Um, I needed time to process, um, and I knew I needed support, and that's exactly what I asked for from my other partners and then from my best friends. Yeah, I told them we had to wait till Dean went to bed, but we had DoorDashed some comfort food. I'm like, okay, like I need to talk to you guys about something, and I'm like, I just want to preface this with I'm not angry, I'm not upset, or like there's no negative like feelings
Mm,
toward Will, and that right now what I really need is support. Yeah,
you were so vulnerable and you leaned fully in. Emily, this is so big and
yeah.
really uncomfortable. And was there more?
um it was I felt throughout all this, I've felt a sense of security about who I am as a person.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Like when I was, let's say, 21, 22, I feel like I couldn't strongly say, okay, I'm secure who I am as a person and my identity, and this is what I want. And, I was very much like, um, like the fawn trauma response where it's like, okay, keep the peace, whatever. And,
Yeah.
but I think that's why part of me feels like, okay, because I'm sticking to my beliefs.
Hmm.
Um, and I have a tarot deck, and I did a reading on myself. I'm like, okay, universe, like, I need some validation here. I need something, show me some message. And I got, actually, let me pull out my book and read you the description of what I got because I was like, okay,
Blown
thank
away.
you. Yeah.
And as you're opening that, where does that sense of security live in you? If you could describe where it lives or how it felt, if you could describe it,
Yeah,
I'd be able
just
to.
like in my gut and my core, like where I was describing that
Cool.
sense to you earlier. It's
Yeah.
all in there. It's all in there where it's like it's just a knowing.
Yeah. If it had a shape or made a sound or a color, is there any way you could describe it?
Mm,
And it's
I don't
okay.
know. I
Oh,
haven't thought about that before, actually. Is it? Mm, it was like a wasn't that? Ah, so I pulled this card. It was called the Tartan card, and it's rebellion, pride, and belonging. So, and it said, when that card is present in a spread, it's telling you to show your true colors and allow your rebellious spirit to shine. As the cloth of rebellion, this card is advising you to go against the grain, rejoice in what makes you different, and be proud of who you are. Um, and I was like,
okay.
yeah, that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Like, be proud of who I am as a person. Who I am as a person goes against societal norms or grains, as you will, you know. But to still like honor that. And I'm like, no, that's how I was feeling.
Right.
And just like pulling that was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It was, I hear you saying it was another validation and it backed up your knowing.
It did back up my knowing. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
and I knew I'm like, I can't go back to how things were, and even if like I also have this sense of hypothetically, right? Let's say I did change who I was. I'm like, all right, I will end things with my other partners and go back to this. And there's still this sense of, well, I feel like this is like Will doesn't know what he wants or where he's at. And that's like his thing. And there's nothing I can do
Mhm.
on my end to change that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got the sense as you were saying that it would be like you were settling for somebody that's still uncertain, like
Yeah.
settling for
Yeah.
something, but there's a lot of uncertainty still around it.
y- Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Well, and then you said like having acceptance for whatever happens. So when you have words, when you hold that word acceptance, how does that feel in your body that you have to accept it? Like you have to do something. Is that true?
Acceptance to me means like peace.
Okay.
Peace, as in there's no anger or these like unspoken hidden feelings or
Okay.
walking on eggshells, like that kind of thing.
Awesome. So there's none of that walking on eggshells. There's no unspoken like hurt feelings. And then I'm gonna invite just another word. How about allowance?
Mm,
If you were to allow whatever happens to happen and you get to be fully you, what do you notice with that word?
it feels good because I am allowing myself to
Right.
be who I am, and um that's something Will said too, is that he wants me to be who I am,
Right.
you
And
know.
right.
And so on his end, he also knows where I am too. So, I can't, like how you said, settle, right? Like, I feel like the whole thing would be a facade. Like,
Right.
it's not real.
Right. So the Is it true that the allowance does it feel freer if you use the word allowance as opposed to acceptance? I know it's a subtle shift, but does that feel like you have more space to play with possibility?
Yes.
Okay. So can we work with that? Working with
Yes.
allowing for whatever happens.
Yes. Allowing whatever happens.
Okay. So I had a little idea for an experiment. Are you up for that?
Mhm.
Okay. Is there a doorway that we could use for this experiment?
Yes.
Cool. Is it a door that has like a door with it or no door? It doesn't matter. I just was curious.
There's a door with it. It's my closet door.
Okay. Do you like that doorway or the doorway going out of your bedroom? You get to choose which one.
We can use the closet door.
Cool. And that one feels supportive.
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible for you to stand up and go by the closet door? And even if
Mhm.
you can't have me face you, well, or maybe you hold the phone, something. We'll figure that out.
Okay. Well, okay.
Going on a little journey.
Going on a journey. And you see my closet. There's a sun in there.
Of course, there is.
Yeah.
Okay. So this threshold that you're kind of standing, this doorway, we're going to call it a threshold. So you
Mhm.
told me that you're kind of in this limbo space, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to just have you turn around and face it. Just look at the doorway. And first, we're just going to start with just describing it. Just describe the doorway. Yeah, just describe the doorway.
Okay. Tall,
Okay.
bright, light, um, not very wide, so I guess more narrow,
Okay.
open.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And is it okay that you're facing this right now as you're coming into relation with this kind of threshold?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, could we say that this threshold could represent like you being in this limbo space right now of the
Yeah.
unknown? As like you're here on this side of the doorway and the possibilities of what could happen are on the other side of this closet. And look at what's in front of you. Like describe what's in front of you and as you're looking at all the possibilities, what's in front of you.
Like literally what's in front of me?
Like you can describe it or what does it mean to you like as you think about like you have this doorway and you're in this limbo space and now you're looking at your closet that from what I barely saw there's clothes in it, there's shoes in it, you have the sunshine in it, like there's a lot of options there.
Oh, okay. Two things popped up.
Yes, tell me.
I picked my closet because I thought, like, okay, it's right here. But also I have my altar space here, which I didn't even think about. And I have my little goddess down here. I don't know if you can see her. And the drawing I made for when Holly,
Yeah.
um, so and that's me now. Those are
Oh,
these things now. And
holy
I
shit.
know. And when you said like what's on the other side for me, it's freedom.
Wow.
Freedom, freedom to be myself, to live my life. And part of that freedom is like how I identify and like that's what's in my closet. Like my journey through circle and just the change of like my beliefs and everything and
Yeah.
all of that is like what I'm staring at.
Right. Wow. So you just said this doorway that represents like the limbo space that you're in right now. There's a sense of freedom on the other side of it.
I sense the freedom because either way I'll have the truth of
Hmm.
what is going to be. There's not this unsettled, like
Yeah.
what I was telling you before. It's like, okay, I have the freedom now, though, of knowing just everything, and obviously I don't know how it's going to pan out. And it's not like it's going to be a decision like, oh, okay, there's going to be stuff that comes with that, but
Right.
I don't know. Freedom also that I don't want to say standing up for who I am as a person because he wasn't berating that in any way,
Mhm.
but me like holding strong to that.
Right. So what would be supportive if you let your body lead? Do you want to go into the limbo space, like in the threshold, or do you want to step beyond that?
Yeah, I'm going in.
Oh,
And
so what do you notice as you're beyond that limbo space? What do you notice here? I love how you just let your body lead and sit down. Good job. Like good job listening. I just want to celebrate that.
and now you can see my space behind me. I also have an owl feather over here too. Um,
What do you notice in your body by being in that space on the other side?
that in a weird way, maybe I felt like I knew this was going to happen. Not
Okay.
exactly like this, but
Yeah.
like I didn't realize maybe how unsettled I felt till this moment.
Mm.
And the drawing behind me that we did,
Mhm.
I drew this interconnectedness, right?
Mhm.
And because you and I worked through the like letting go, the art
Mhm.
of letting go, something I struggled with attachments and working through that. And that was part of my drawing was even if I'm not, I can't control these things. I can't control Will or Tegan or, any of these things, but there's still like the connectedness. And to me, like no matter what, we will always be connected. And maybe my spirit was telling me, like, okay, like things may change, but you're not losing
Mm.
something in a sense. The relationship, if that's what happens, will shift and change,
Yeah.
but I'm not losing Will. Um,
Right.
you know, yeah.
So what is it like? So you said you're noticing this interconnectedness that's even represented by the wall behind you, by your picture behind you. I'm going to mention the owl feather because that came into your awareness, like reminding you that you have the wisdom. You got your goddess there. So, what is that like to notice that? Like, notice if there's an impulse even arising in you as you're.
Yeah. I'm thinking about past me. Past me would have been walking so scared.
Mm.
Um, and there is that fear, but
Hmm.
I'm it feels I don't like I can do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, I get the sense of like courage in this.
Yes,
Like,
courage that I can face it and I'll be okay.
yeah.
Um and yeah.
Okay. So how might it be, and you get to choose to play with the threshold a little bit of being in the limbo space, because you're now in the space beyond that, which is being deeply connected in self and knowing you're going to be okay. You have the courage to face this truth, and it's there's a sense of freedom here. So how might you
Mhm.
just play with being in the in between space in the threshold and just standing and seeing what you notice in your body? Could we
Mm.
try that and just see?
Yep.
You just see what arises in you as you stand in the threshold, like stand in the doorway You can lean on the doorway, do whatever your body feels like it wants in that space, in the threshold. So what do you notice as you're in the limbo right now in your body? And you can close your eyes if that would support you to just notice what's
Mm.
there.
In limbo, my brain or body, both, they're saying like we will not go back. Like I won't go back
Mm,
to anything, in the past. Like I won't and I can't.
yeah,
um so yeah, in this limbo space, it's me thinking of myself when I got married at 22 and thinking like, no, we're not
yeah,
we're not going back to that because I was so confused.
yeah. And I just want to acknowledge like you leaned into that threshold. So what do you notice as you're leaning into that limbo space right now in your body?
I got the sense of in the past, or if I like were to jump back, so to say, it's like I got this feeling of no, you've lived your life for other people for so long and supported and in my marriage,
Mhm.
like I've given so much support and now it's like I don't want to say it's my turn, but it's mm, it feels like I don't know if you were trying to cage like a wild animal
Yeah. So
or a
what it
bird.
yeah, or a bird. So what came
Hmm.
to me when you said all that was you've given so much support up until like the near recent, like you know what I mean? And now you, because you're literally leaning on that threshold, you're
Yeah.
receiving that support. So now you're allowing yourself to receive the support that's always been here. Is that true? Like you're receiving.
Yes.
And
Receiving and what's the word? Allowing.
yes, so you're receiving and allowing. And like as you're kind of in between, you're in between the freedom of like the truth of not knowing, but also noticing that like you can do it. You have the courage to face it. And then on the other side of that doorway, let's say your bedroom kind of represents that 22-year-old you that was so confused. So
Hmm.
if that part could like if she had a voice, what would she want you to know?
She would want me to know that we've come so far and to not give up who we are.
Hmm. So how might it be for you to stay in the doorway, but maybe lean on the doorway with your shoulder and kind of face the 22-year-old you area that we're
Mhm.
describing as the 22-year-old you? And I'm going to say it to you. So maybe close your eyes just to be in your body.
Mhm.
Emily, you've come so far. You're connected in self. You have come so far. And what else does she want you to know?
That I'm not doing anything wrong or
Hmm.
bad. Um, yeah, that I didn't do anything wrong. Um,
And would you like me to say that back to you?
Yeah.
Emily, you have come so far and you're not doing anything wrong. I'm here to support you. And if you want me to say it again, I will. Okay.
Mm.
Emily, you're not doing anything wrong. You have come so far and I'm here to support you. And what do you notice in your body as I say that back to you?
Well, part of my brain jumped to, well, yes, you did, because what about like X, Y, and Z? Right? Like, oh, you could have handled this situation better or done this, in a different way. And then I had a moment of like panic where I'm like, oh my God, like, what if I'm actually a horrible person and I, did do these things wrong? And like, no, 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 no. That's so
I'm going to be for your body, like let your body lead and stand in this threshold or on the other side, wherever you want to be with your body, let your body lead. Where do you want to go? Like, do you want to lean your back up against that threshold again so you can see both? Or do you want to walk into the freedom?
yeah, we're gonna go back into the freedom.
Okay, let's go back. And what do you notice now in your body?
I'm I feel like my mind went back to mindfulness. Like, okay, we're here now
Okay.
and we're not digging up past stuff.
Yeah. So if you could make a shape with your body, like if you were to act it out, like this sense of freedom, this sense of being connected, interconnected to self, what would that look like? To just
Mm.
expand into it more. Just let your body lead. Whatever it goes to is the right answer. I'm going to attempt to do it with you if I can see what you're doing.
I'm I'm just sitting back down. So my clothes are also like right here, but
I see that. That's awesome. So if you could give this sense of freedom and this sense of connectedness some supportive touch, please move into that. Like move into something that would support you to just anchor this in. So bring your hands to support your body in some way.
mm,
Whatever you do, I'm going to mirror. So now let yourself just kind of nourish in the sense of freedom, the sense of interconnectedness, the sense of deeply honoring yourself and allowing this process. As you have come so far and you aren't doing anything wrong and you are being supported. So now if these hands that are here to give you that supportive touch, if they had a voice for you, what would they want you to know?
mm, that at my core, like I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. Um, and and how I identify, how I identify isn't the thing that would be hurting somebody.
Mhm. So that you are truly loving all those that are around you by loving yourself well and
Mhm.
honoring yourself to be exactly who you are and allowing yourself to be exactly who you are. Is that true?
Yes.
So maybe take another moment in this place of freedom, in this place that represents this interconnectedness here in front of your altar, and just let yourself savor in that space. And if it feels right, maybe let your eyes soften. And only if it feels right, Emily, maybe you can let this place in you, the space of freedom, that know that you'll be back when it needs some attention and to remember this.
I'll need to. I'm sure I'll have moments where it doesn't seem so clear,
Mhm.
and I'll question things.
Yeah. And if it feels right, you can even let it know. And this is once again, you said you'll be back, but just let it know that you'll be back when it's here. As long as you intend to be back, just let it know you'll be back.
Mm,
When you're in the doubt and uncertainty, and it's here to remind you to expand and breathe more life into being deeply connected and honoring of who you are. And maybe just take a moment to just say thank you for showing up today and thank you for sharing all of this with you today to help you to remember that you've come so far, that you're not doing anything wrong, and that you are being supported in this. So, whenever you feel complete, you can just let me know and you can just bring your eyes back to the surface.
mm,
So, is there anything else you wanted to do in the limbo space in the threshold before you can stay in the closet or you can go back to your bed? You get to choose now.
mm. I'll stay here.
Okay, cool. So I'm curious, what did you learn by playing in that limbo space and then stepping beyond it into the unknown? 'Cause that's essentially what you just did. So what did you learn in this experiment?
That like my core being has a knowing, and to follow that
Mm,
and follow that guidance. It's like just coming in here, didn't think about that 45 minutes ago at all. And then
right.
I was just like, wow, this space represents, you know, after I turned 30, discovering so much of myself and doing so much work and exploring things. And it's made me so happy.
Mhm.
Um, and that I have support. Um, and then like having support that's non-judgmental.
Mhm.
Um, and what did you ask? I just sorry. I
Just
was
what you're walking away with from that experiment of like what
Oh,
you
thank you.
experiment.
Yes, yes. Um, so that following my knowing, because here represents the freedom, the exploration, the uncovering of myself that was so pushed down for so long.
Right.
Like my body just led me to it. Like this is the space.
Right.
Um, and trusting that. And I trust myself.
Yeah. Wow. And I just want to acknowledge like I never know what is going to happen with these experiments. I have to trust, and I do. But you said before we began, like you said, like you were just in such this limbo space and there's a lot of anxiety, sadness, and just a lot of uncertainty. And the way you described the doorway was tall, which represents the threshold in this experiment, which is going to go back to being your doorway, back to your closet. All of that is true, but you can come here for your place of freedom. But it was tall, bright, light, narrow, and open.
Mhm.
So, how are you feeling in relation to being in this limbo space now after all of that?
Just to knowing that I will be okay and I will be loved and I'll be supported.
Awesome. And is there a way you could describe what that feels like in your body if you could? Or how might you do that?
For me, it's the at first rising sense of panic of being alone and not having that support, but then the knowing coming in and being like, no, that's not true. I don't know how to sum it up in a word, but it's like, you know, this one comes up, but then like myself is like, no.
Okay. So it's almost like it's being met and being supported. Is that true? Like,
Yeah,
I see you panic and I'm here to support you. I
yes,
know, like, I will be supported. I'm trusting that because the panic is like the old response, is what I'm hearing.
it is. It is the 22 year old
Right, I was
response.
like, it came from that direction. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. And, I've like, and one of my big supports is like circle and thinking about like that space, how safe that space is, and everything other people have gone through. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I will always be supported there. And I'm just like so grateful that that space exists.
Mm. So what are you walking away with from this? Now that you know all of that, that your core being has this knowing to follow that, you have support that's non-judgmental, that you will be okay, that you will be supported. So what are you walking away with?
I'm, and for me, this is huge. Like, I'm okay in that limbo space. I'm okay waiting. Me
Uh,
before would have been like, I need the answer now. Like, I'm not waiting another day. I can't breathe another second. Like, no. Me now, like, I'm okay waiting. I'm okay waiting because I know who I am.
mm,
And, you know, I am going to honor that. And, you know, do I like have things that I rather have happen? Of course I do. But just walking away with like, I've also done things and built things for myself and I have my own identity and
yeah,
I don't know, that's huge.
yeah, that's really huge, Emily. And I just want to acknowledge your ability to continue to lean in, to discover that, to receive that support, to be vulnerable enough to allow that to fully come through to you and in you and around you.
Yeah, because it's I mean, I can do it now, me before like it would have been
Yeah.
so difficult.
Yeah. And at the beginning, like I know I said this just a moment ago, but I'm wondering, like, you're feeling really okay with this space. Is there anything more that would support you in being in this limbo right now today?
I mean, yeah, just the knowing that, I have people who care about me and will have my back with things in
Yeah.
a non-judgmental way.
Yeah. And would you be willing that if I don't want to even say when, if the panic or any of the uncertainty starts to arrive, would you be willing to come back maybe into the space or come back to the freedom just through like being with it in your body?
Yes, that's what I think I've kind of been coming back to,
Yeah.
but this is like kind of like solidified it.
Awesome. And I just you even named it. There's a sun on your wall. Like you chose that. Like this is why with the somatic work, like you don't know why you're choosing things, but your body does. It intuitively went there because you know the way. Your body knows the way.
Yes.
Knows all of that because that's what would support you, and you had no idea what we were gonna do.
Nope, none. But I was like, I'm choosing my closet. I'm choosing my closet, the
Yeah,
sun, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, yeah, this space.
right. So no matter what happens, like you're gonna be okay. Like, and even if you're not okay, you get to be there too.
Yeah.
That's gonna be supported, and you're gonna your back will you have your own back first and foremost. You are going to honor yourself. We know that now. Like, I do you know that? I guess let me ask. Are you feeling like you know that you have your own back now? Like more now
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Because I'm, you know, hanging out in this limbo space, which is me having my own back because I stand by who I am.
right. And also, what I hear in that is a really beautiful way of allowing Will to discover what is his truth.
Yes. Because I want that for him. I sincerely do.
And what if by you doing your work, it's giving Will more permission to figure out like what is true for him too?
It is because I'm able to process things. I handle things differently.
Right.
Um, and we're able to exist in this limbo space, I think, because of a lot of the journey and work that I've been on.
Yeah. And would you be willing to keep looking for where this sense of freedom exists in your life? Because you're still in the limbo space, but could you keep looking for where you find, like, ask your brain, show me where freedom exists? Show me where the sense of freedom exists. Show me
Mhm.
where I feel free.
Mhm.
Would that be supportive also while you're here in this in between space?
Yes.
Okay. And just be open because when we say that, show me, that means you don't have the answer. You're letting the answer come to you and you're willing to be shown where that could be. It might be, I feel free in my bedroom laying down. It might be, I feel free in nature. It might be
Mhm.
wherever that is. Just keep letting yourself lean into where you feel free. And then notice and like if you can try to acknowledge it in the moment of like, oh, I feel so free right here, like just that simple thing of like acknowledging it because then it's showing your body of like we're going to keep looking for these places.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess what are you taking away from this whole session together? It might be some of what you said, but I feel like there might be something else that might need to be said, and if I'm wrong you can tell me.
Um, no, it's basically what I said
Okay.
earlier. Um, and that I'm also surprised that in session I didn't know how it was going to go. I just knew that I really needed to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm surprised with my calmness, I guess.
I just found it interesting where at the beginning you're like, I don't want to be with my emotions. I really don't. And I know I need to go there. But now look at where you are just by allowing whatever was there to be there and not make it wrong.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I wasn't like, suppressing anything, but I'm like, okay. I don't know, I feel okay.
That's awesome. And if anything else were to happen, that would have been okay too. But I just think it's really interesting because at first you're like, but I don't want to go there. I'm like, okay, we don't have to. We took a moment to just be with the emotions to allow the rest to unfold.
Yes.
You-
And I know there are going to be days where I will feel and I have like had moments throughout the days where I break down, and I let myself do that, you know. And I don't make it wrong. I just let it happen. And then some moments I'm okay, like right now.
Yeah. And I'm curious, like when you let yourself break down, do you also move the emotions? Whether it's
Yeah,
sadness.
I well, one of the times I walked up and I came up here
Yeah.
and I did the Muse method and was just with myself and just let myself feel. Um, Another time I was walking with one of my best friends and we were walking and I was crying and walking. So we were moving, which felt good. Um, yeah. And the next time it happens, because I know there will be a next time, um, we'll see. But
Yeah.
it hasn't, like, I haven't made it, you know, wrong.
And I just want to acknowledge what you just said. You, in both of those examples, you deepened into you and supported your needs. You went up to the bedroom and you did the Muse method and you were with the sadness. You were out on a walk. You let yourself be supported by your friend, by nature. You deepened into the sadness and let it support you.
Yes.
You moved it through your body. You didn't just like feel it and then, you know what I mean? You deepened into it, and you can even ask, and maybe you did this, I was like, what is your message for me? And it might be what you did
Yeah.
is to be able to.
And I think after the one where I sat in my room, it's okay, I'm gonna go to my cards. And then I pulled the one about staying like true to myself, and I was like, this is exactly what I needed right now.
Yes. So you're I just want to celebrate all of that, and that's why I check in on the little pieces. Let me look back at our last week just to see if there's anything else. Was this feeling complete for like our for what we were discussing today with allowing for whatever
Yes.
happens? Okay.
Yes.
And then I wanted to check back in because I know your brother's baby's coming soon. So I wanted to check in on some of the things we had from our last session. Would that
Mhm.
also support you?
Yeah. I think I told you right that I'm going there.
Yes. Did you write a letter to yourself to reassure yourself when you are gone to support your brother and when you go to New York?
Say that one more time.
You were going to write a letter to yourself to reassure yourself when you were gone for your brother and then also for New York.
Yes. And I feel really good about both of those things. Well, with my brother, with everything going on now,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, it's a huge celebration that it's just interesting timing where I'm like, okay, I'm going through this, but then here comes this like new life. And
Mm.
with New York, I am like so proud of myself. Like I've gotten more and more like, 'cause before I was like, okay, I'm leaving and I'm panicking and I had that panic,
Yeah.
where now I feel like I this is a huge step for me, and I like traveling alone is huge,
Yeah.
and it just feels like this is like the right step in my journey. Like, it just feels right. Like, okay, like I'm doing this
Okay,
solo. It needs to be done.
cool. Then that might be it. So you don't feel like you need to write a letter anymore, is what I'm hearing.
No, no.
Cool.
I have a um I don't know. I have a better feeling about both of those things.
Well, it seems like everything leading up to this moment has been preparation for you to stand in your power, is what I'm hearing, and for you to fully honor yourself. And like sometimes some of the things that come through in the session don't have to happen. It's you having the realization and living into it. So that's why it's an invitation. If you do, because you had mentioned I want to write a letter to myself. So that's the only reason I was checking back in on it. You don't need to because it's now been embodied. You are now like really proud of yourself and it's part of your journey to further find that freedom and that sense of being fully connected to yourself is what I'm hearing.
Yes, and especially that's I feel like that's heightened with everything that's going on. I'm like, nope, these are the things for me that I'm doing.
Oh, I know. It's amazing how that all happens. Okay, sweet. Those are the main things. The other things will come through later. And is that still supported for me to send the notes after our session and the recording and everything? Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. So let's look at next one, just to see when we're doing our next session so we can get that on the schedule. So are we going to do 2 weeks again?
Yeah, and actually that'll be perfect because Will has his session
Next week.
next Friday. So if like that Monday.
Okay, cool. Monday the 14th is when I have it down
Yes, let me.
at 4:45.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, and then I still have on the calendar for Monday the 7th for you to still have your honoring time during our normal regular session time. And then we'll meet again on the 14th. And if anything shows up and you need to meet sooner, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thank you. Yeah, as stuff comes up, especially like with this shift,
Yeah,
I feel myself like calling upon, my people more.
I hear it. You've been doing it, so keep that up. I know
Yes,
I'm here if you need support. And then, are you planning to come to the full moon on the 12th?
that is my plan. I'm verifying with Will, and Kate that they're like for sure doing Friday. And then if
Oh,
that's the case, then I'll be there.
cool. Oh, gotcha. Oh, because they might do Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Friday night now. Otherwise it was gonna be like Saturday, and you know, uh, but I wouldn't be able to like
Yep.
leave
No,
Keegan there,
perfect.
obviously.
All right.
So yeah,
I'm guessing it'll be Friday, just knowing Kate, but that's just my guess. I
oh, okay, yeah.
have no knowing. I'm just guessing.
No, I mean, that's what I think is gonna happen. I'm just waiting for confirmation.
Yeah, just because of I have a knowing of their family life and everything, and her partnership, and so I'm like, I have a sense it'll be Friday because it's usually easier without Minette there and all the things.
Yeah, I understand that.
I know you
Good
do.
wife.
All right, so then I'll perhaps see you on the 12th if that all aligns, and then if not, I'll see you on the 14th. And I'm just celebrating all that came through today, Emily. Like you really are deeply leaning in, and let's do this. Let's keep going.
Thank you. I appreciate all of your support.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. All right, I will see you soon, and take care.
Thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.